Like, I'm not sure, but it's a really exciting time to be here, and it's a really great time to be getting people into this space now that we have the tech to
Yeah. So
support it. So I'm all
on that note, because so you do Shifa, and that's all about like bringing women into the crypto space, getting them like literate with like the crypto financial tools and how to like use assets and stuff. What would you say is like the biggest obstacle in getting people in, either getting people into it or getting people to like adjust their risk preferences to like know that there's going to be like intrinsic value or like growing value as the crypto space gets more developed and more like robust?
I would say the biggest obstacle is just the onboarding part. So getting comfortable with like using a crypto wallet and figuring out what a public address is and like sending that
Hmm.
first transaction is like it feels a little like uh
Well,
magical
because
almost,
also
or there's like a
right now also
underlying
gas
tension.
prices are insane.
Yeah, gas prices are insane. So and this is something that I've been meaning to really figure out because when I started SheFi in like uh, early 2020, the original idea was that women would join SheFi and we would all donate between like $10 and $40. Or I mean, you can, your upper end is your upper end.
Hmm.
It's a personal preference, but donate like I would teach everyone how to get a stable coin. And then everyone would take the stable coin and they would send it to
Would
a
you like
SheFi
recommend like a
wallet.
DAO or
And then that,
USDC or what?
so once again, it's a personal preference. Like for the sake of SheFi, we
Hmm.
used DAI, but if you want to put your money to work, your stable coins to work, you should always be looking at where they're
Hmm.
getting the best interest. So that's another thing in SheFi as well. I'm not like you must decentralize everything and use DAI as your stable coin. I'm like, here are your options. Here's the Gemini US dollar. Here's USDC. Here is
Hmm.
DAI. Here is, whatever one it was. And then it's up to you based on your risk profile and what you want to do with DeFi and how it fits into your financial plan to pick the coin and the project or the protocol where you can put it to work for you. I don't really like, for the purposes of SheFi, I don't mind like a centralized stable coin
Hmm.
for making money. Like that's not the point. It's for women to make money with SheFi. And then I think naturally through the course, because of the, like in the beginning, here's an example. A few of the women in the Mochi SheFi cohort are coming from like the traditional financial world. And my friend works at Revolut and she bought crypto on Revolut. And I had told her, I had said in the SheFi lesson, like Revolut, PayPal, Robinhood are good if you just want exposure to the asset, but you cannot send it anywhere else. And so therefore you cannot use DeFi with the money that you have in um,
Hmm.
those types of applications. So it like took a month or two, but then they're like, okay, so now I opened an account on Gemini. Like the ones that were like, I just want exposure. Now that they're like really understanding the DeFi landscape, are like, okay, now I want to get it on Gemini, or through MetaMask, and then I want to put it in MetaMask so I can get like other tokens on Uniswap, right? So you honestly like the pitch doesn't have to be like decentralized
Hmm.
maximalist in the beginning, but like once you realize how limited you are by using certain platforms or only accessing certain tokens, that's when really like the whole like it's not even like I have to sell it because I don't want to push anything on anybody. I want people to know their options and make those choices. And then it's as soon as you want to get exposure to more DeFi related tokens, you're naturally going to have to use a MetaMask or some other Web3 enabled wallet to access those applications. And so like
Hmm.
it sells itself.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to also like because I do stuff like kind of around crypto. I'm considering like trying to get my wife to like learn about the stuff because she's also interested in like finance stuff and like just making sure that she's maximizing her like financial potential. And like this is definitely like a burgeoning thing that has a lot of like room for growth. Just also just working out in my mind how to sell that.
Yeah. No, tell her to come to I think if she attended a SheFi lesson, I'm only saying this because this is my third cohort. So I'm always nervous with each new cohort that like they're not going to like the content or they're expecting something more advanced or in some way it's not going to resonate. Like I still have that
Mhm.
imposter syndrome, but now that I've started to do my third one, like whether you're brand new to crypto or you're sort of in crypto, like the responses of the women feeling so empowered and feeling like the content is like poignant and relevant and not cumbersome. Like I think I found a niche of being able to communicate these concepts into something relatable. And I don't really, I also like talk about my crypto mishaps or my journey. And like, I'm trying to just make it like you're talking to a friend. I'm not trying to be holier than thou or like I'm above you because I've been in crypto since 2017. Like I never want to be that type of talking head. I just want to be like your friend, like teaching you about these things that I know. And the feedback I keep getting like across the board is that like they enjoy the
How many people do you
session.
usually aim
So
for in a cohort?
maybe just like, okay, so it's funny because it's sort of, there's no exact like method yet. So first cohort last year was friends in consensus that were women not working necessarily in DeFi to kind of like pilot out, like, do you like the content? Am I doing this in a good way? And the second one kind of happened serendipitously through Mochi, where Gabe was like, hey, I think a lot of women in Mochi would benefit from learning about DeFi and it could actually help you if you presented these lessons. So would you mind like starting it? And it was actually kind of like a kick I needed in a way, because it really gave me a lot of confidence teaching brand new people to crypto that I'm doing something right and I'm doing something that's needed, and it's not just my friends and consensus that support me and liked the content too. So I'm doing that for Mochi, and then I was like, well, if I'm going to do this, I should just invite all my girlfriends who've been asking me about this. So it's kind of like a mix of like my friends and Mochi friends, and it's really fun because they're all like, everything's new. So they're like, this is great. So it's also like a very confidence boosting thing. And then at the same time, I just put out a application on Twitter and on the SheFi website, and just like through social channels without like a bunch of promotion, like opening up a third SheFi cohort, apply today. And we got over 40 responses. And it's incredible. There's women from Iran, Egypt, India, Germany, the UK, San Francisco. There was a woman that joined my first session on Monday that she was up at 3 a.m. in Egypt. And like, I can't tell you how that makes me feel just to know that like the amount that people want to feel like they can make these choices and engage in this space, and like that I can bring that globally. Like that wasn't on purpose necessarily, right? So I selected everybody into that cohort because naturally I felt like people would self-select out. So if I share the different types of projects we're going to go over and you're way more advanced and you're hoping it was more like of an investment club, then maybe that's not for you. But that's not to say SheFi can't become that in the future. I'm just growing out this community now by, my whole thing is like, I'm giving you the foundational projects, and then I'm going to give you the information and the power and the knowledge to be able to evaluate more advanced DeFi related things. And so that's kind of where I start. And then I'm hoping there will be a time for like the people that really want to like cut their teeth on, let's say, yield farming or something, that want to create like a subgroup. So, but this is my third one and we're starting at the beginning. And the whole point is that there's not necessarily a way yet. I've just been kind of serendipitously, while also putting out the application was like more structured, but you know, I'm kind of like, as the opportunities arise to start them, I will do it. But now I'm definitely like at capacity of like I have a day job too. And I'm an extrovert. So like I know if I like locked myself in a room and didn't have a social life, I could like crush like the game. But I do really appreciate like my time with people and like relationships in this world, because that's what it all comes down to at the end, is what matters. And so I try to invest in that as well. So I think now I'm at capacity with these two cohorts, but I'm up to about 60-ish women that I'm educating. But I have a hard time saying no to new people. But now that crypto is blowing up, right? Like every dinner I go to, every meeting where I meet somebody new and my friends are like, Maggie works in crypto. It's like, teach me. So
that's awesome.
SheFi also came at an interesting time. Like I launched it during the pandemic. I wrote this email to my friends when I first launched it, like, this may fail and this may not be the best time to be starting something or to be announcing this publicly, but then there's also no better time to be letting people know about their financial alternatives than in an infrastructure and a government and the bank system that has
continues
like
to fail, repeatedly fails.
To fail millions of people, right? So I was trying to be sensitive to the fact that like at the beginning of the pandemic, like it's not great to be like, I'm unaffected in the way that I can do this, but at the same time, like letting people know that I'm doing this because I want people to be a
Hmm.
little bit more protected the next time this happens, especially women. Because women have been like the most financially, they've been leaving the job force. Like we're there at home, like taking care of kids. Like they're just getting pushed out of the job place during this. And so like, I think that makes like my
Hmm.
mission even more critical. So yeah. And then like everything in crypto is doing pretty well. So it feels like my timing was
Pretty spot
universally
on.
good. So I'm like grateful for whatever in the world cause. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say cause it, but like grateful that crypto's doing no, but grateful that like crypto's doing well, and like I kind of put myself out there. Like it was a risk. I'm not very. I like, Shifi is something I started entirely on my own, and that's like the first time I've really done that. So I'm grateful that the crypto stuff is lining
Hmm.
up as well, and that I took the risk. I think that's what I'm grateful that I took the risk and put myself out there, and I'm continuing to put myself out there, because it's pushing me in a lot of important ways, uh, both like in my career and in like my personal growth, and my hope that I'm impacting the world, even if it's
Hmm.
only 60 women, in some positive way that I
Just
hadn't
on the
been
note of like
before.
also introducing women to different crypto assets, do you know anything about the women of crypto art? I think it's like Woka.